You don't have to be a conspiracy theorist to realize our leaders are indeed lizard people. This is an episode of the Lizard Chronicles. Now, our politicians surely must be lizard people, and there's good evidence of this. Let's examine a few theories. Why is almost everything so screwed up and always getting worse? It must be sabotage, an inside job. They are taking our country down from the inside. Only lizard people could be capable of this. Allowing homeless and drug dens to take over the streets of many of our cities. What kind of politician in their right mind would think this is a good idea? Or think there is no problem, nothing to see here, move right along? We, the average citizens, have to deal with the situation on the ground as it is, the reality. Not the pie-in-the-sky version the politicians describe in their speeches, where it is always morning in America and we are always that eternal shining city on a hill. Only the lizard brain could think this situation should continue the way it is. No one is lifting a finger, no one coming up with a plan. Now, the main problem seems to be there is no money in ending homelessness / open-air drug addicts living in tent cities on our streets. Certainly the lizard brain can come up with a way to profit off of this so we can start to put an end to it and clean up the cities. Always more and more money for endless wars. I remember during the George W. Bush era when the outcry was for how large the military budget had grown, approaching something like $400 billion. Well, that was then, the good old days we can look back on with nostalgia. Well, not really. His administration was a disaster for the planet and the U.S. Now the defense budget is double that, and there's no end in sight. It will continue to skyrocket. Many have their hands in that pie. The weapons makers, those invested in the stocks, plenty of them in Congress. I don't remember ever getting to vote on this issue. Now, it's apparent the lizard politicians have unleashed a kind of amnesia, a sleepwalking potion on the American public, so that we forget issues like this. Don't think about or question the obvious. Why are we paying such high taxes and getting so little in return? The lizard politicians are harvesting our energy and extracting the funds for their own purposes. What else could possibly be the explanation for why these shit shows continue? Also, the lizards have many labs all over the world where they are creating mutant viruses, conducting all sorts of bizarre experiments with the purported goal of keeping us safe. Except when one of these toxic viruses gets released, and suddenly we don't feel so safe for a while, and many of us perish. I don't remember getting to vote for whether we should be doing these kind of experiments either, manipulating nature, creating mutant strains that could be more deadly than the last one. Doesn't it just make you feel so safe knowing the lizards are working overtime to protect you from the next deadly pandemic? They consistently do things the population doesn't want, and even get us whipped up in a frenzy and going to the polls to cast a vote for them to sanction it all and put our stamp of approval on it. If you examine the issue from all sides, only this explanation makes any sense. The lizard politicians are all too eager and ready to take us to World War III, and they are in the process of antagonizing the other great powers of the world to accomplish this, namely Russia and China. The lizard politicians want us to keep working, dumb us down so that we don't think about any of the issues affecting our lives. That is the strategy of the deep lizard state. Some will dismiss all this and say, oh, you're just a conspiracy theorist. Apparently they're waiting for the moment when Biden, Mitch McConnell, Nancy Pelosi, Nikki Haley, Mike Pence, Chuck Schumer peel off their faces and reveal to us the lizard face, the scales, the reptile skin beneath the veneer. Trust me, my friends, we don't need to see this moment. All we need to see are their actions to understand and realize that our overlords, our quote-unquote leaders, are lizard people underneath the human facade. Biden has for many years been a hollowed-out shell of a being, and certainly one of the top lizard people in the halls of government. He brought us NAFTA, giving away our manufacturing base, which hollowed out and destroyed much of the country. Then this lizard person also voted for the Iraq War, which brought so much destruction to Iraq, to the U.S., and to the psyche and well-being of the planet. Trump may or may not be a full lizard. It's quite obvious the other top lizards do not like his particular lizardness. They are doing everything they can to exclude him from the club of other lizards, and to ensure he does not have power over them again. For these lizards like things the way they are, so don't expect any changes in the next election or the election after that. The lizards are harvesting our energy, siphoning the fruit of our labor, money, upwards into their own coffers. Surely the strategy and ultimate goal is to bankrupt the country and the planet and leave it in utter destruction. Then they will sail off on their lizard spaceships to a distant planet in search of another population of dupes, where they will continue to harvest energy and rule for 1,000 more years. Western leaders, Biden, Trudeau, Macron, and other top system officials such as Mitch McConnell keep getting elected no matter how unpopular they are, and how much most people dislike these particular star representatives of lizarddom. WEF and Klaus Schwab impose their agenda on quote-unquote sovereign governments of the world, stripping away nationhood and the ability to determine direction for your country and the type of country you have. Now, is there anyone here who truly believes Klaus is not a lizard? He even tells us we will eat the bugs, the favorite food of most lizards, and we will be happy. And he must be when he partakes in this particular delicacy. Now, this has been an episode of the Lizard Chronicles. Stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you for listening.